Greetings everyone, my name is Mariam Khadija. I'll be presenting a research poster today along with my peers Wania Syed and Shama Siddiq. The title of our poster is, What's the Catch? The Dark Triad and Perception of Help in Socioeconomic Context. Now, have you ever wondered how you would react if someone offered you help? Well, we did, and here's why we conducted this study. We were interested in finding out if Dark Triad predicted the perception of help in the context of socioeconomic status. Previous literature has highlighted that socioeconomic status influences how people respond in their daily interactions. Findings suggested that people coming from high socioeconomic status backgrounds tend to show more entitlement and consider themselves as more worthy of resources than others. High socioeconomic status also relates to higher levels of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. And together, these three traits form the dark triad. We found that just like high socioeconomic status individuals, people with higher levels of dark triad traits are less grateful and less likely to offer help. They also tend to see others in a negative light, which influences their social interactions. However, the role of socioeconomic status in the relationship between dark triad and perception of help is unclear. Individuals with dark triad traits usually help people with an ulterior motive, so we were interested in finding out how they perceive the help that was offered to them. So we conducted research on how this interaction plays out in socioeconomic context. The aim of our study is to investigate if dark triad scores predicted the perception of help in the context of socioeconomic status, and our hypotheses were: A, in the context of high socioeconomic status, dark triad traits will predict the perception of help, and in the context of low socioeconomic status, it will not.
Our study was approved by the Ethics Committee of Middlesex University, Dubai. We collected data through online web links that were sent across different social media platforms. We had a staggering multinational sample of 879 participants, but after data cleaning, it was reduced to 262. Our study had two independent variables, which were socioeconomic status and dark triad traits, and a dependent variable, which was perception of help. Our independent variable, socioeconomic status, was the subjective social standing of the participants on a scale of 1 to 10, and we grouped individuals that rated themselves within 1 to 6 as low socioeconomic status individuals and 7 to 10 as high socioeconomic status individuals. The dark triad traits of the participants were measured using the short dark triad questionnaire that adopts a 5-point Likert scale, and higher scores on the overall questionnaire represented higher levels of dark triad traits. Our dependent variable, which was perception of help, was measured using a very interesting lottery ticket vignette. The vignette described a situation where the participant had won a lottery ticket of rupees 100,000 with another person due to a ticketing error. The participant then had to either split the money with the other party, or they could choose to report the error to the authority at the risk of both parties losing all the money. So we randomly allocated participants into two help conditions, which were high and low. In the high help condition, the participant was offered rupees 80,000 out of the rupees 100,000, and the other party would keep rupees 20,000. In the low help condition, however, the participant was offered to keep rupees 20,000 and the other party would get rupees 80,000. Following this vignette, we presented the participants with a questionnaire about their perception of the genuineness, cost, and value of the help that was offered to them. Lastly, our study adopted minor deception regarding the aim. However, participants were debriefed right after completing the questionnaire. Coming to a results section, we adopted simple linear regression for analysis. By selecting cases, we divided the data between high socioeconomic status and low socioeconomic status conditions. We found both of our regression equations to be non-significant, which indicates that dark triad scores were non-significant predictors of perception of help in both high and low socioeconomic status conditions. In low socioeconomic status condition, our significance value was 0.171. However, in high socioeconomic status condition, it was 0.066, which is closer to significance. Something interesting that we also found in our results was regarding the acceptance of help in both the socioeconomic status conditions. We found that, irrespective of the amount of money that was offered, in both high and low socioeconomic status conditions, there was an equal ratio of acceptance, wherein 67.1% accepted help in the low socioeconomic status condition and 62.5% accepted help in the high socioeconomic status condition. A further breakdown into these findings in terms of the two helping conditions revealed a difference in how both the socioeconomic status conditions responded to the help that was offered. A detailed representation of this finding is provided in the graph.
And now on to our discussion section. We found non-significant results. What does that mean? It means that the first hypothesis was rejected, but our second hypothesis was accepted. Therefore, in the context of high and low socioeconomic status, the dark triad do not predict the perception of help. The support for our second hypothesis can be explained by previous literature, which suggests that low socioeconomic status people tend to have higher empathy and more compassion that may overcome the influence of the dark triad. However, caution should be taken since this is, after all, an assumption from our side. Our non-significant findings for the first hypothesis can be explained by the limitations of our study, which included a drastic reduction in sample size, which skewed the distribution of the participants in both the groups, and the employment of a written Vignette, which, according to previous literature, has shown to have lower construct validity. Written Vignette also require an imaginative effort from the participants, which may not have induced a realistic scenario for them. Despite these drawbacks, a major strength of our study is attributed to the fact that we took into account that people can exaggerate their social standing. To accommodate that, we did a distribution of 1 to 6 rankings for low socioeconomic status group and 7 to 10 for the high socioeconomic status group. Furthermore, we also had a high Cronbach alpha value. Our non-significant findings expand on the previous literature of dark triad and socioeconomic status because previous literature has found significant results when testing high dark triad levels or high socioeconomic status with prosociality. When we took those factors into consideration, we did not find significant results for our first hypothesis, which means that there needs to be some investigation done to clarify how perceptions and prosociality are influenced by social and psychological factors, especially since our p-value was so close to significance. We suggest that in future research, a visual Vignette can be used, which will create a more realistic scenario and yield more valid results. Furthermore, a distribution of socioeconomic groups, a balanced distribution of socioeconomic groups will help provide more conclusive results. By overcoming the limitations mentioned in the research, it is possible to find a conclusive result about how these factors influence perceptions. We believe that learning how people perceive and engage in prosociality can create a greater understanding of their individual and social functioning. Thank you for listening to us.